ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ మాజీ మంత్రి, మాజీ పార్లమెంట్ సభ్యులు, 108 దేవాలయాల వంశపారంపర్య ట్రస్టీ డాక్టర్ పూసపాటి ఆనంద్ గజపతిరాజు జయంతి వేడుకలను గోవా గవర్నర్ పి. అశోక్ గజపతిరాజు జ్యోతి ప్రజ్వలనం చేసి ప్రారంభించారు. ఈ సందర్భంగా ఆనంద్ గజపతిరాజు కుమార్తె పి. ఊర్మిళ గజపతిరాజు రూపొందించిన స్మారక పుస్తకాన్ని గోవా గవర్నర్ పి. అశోక్ గజపతిరాజు ఆవిష్కరించారు. అశోక్ గజపతిరాజు మాట్లాడుతూ ఆనంద్ గజపతిరాజు ఎన్టీ రామారావు ప్రభుత్వంలో మొదటి విద్యాశాఖ మంత్రిగా చేశారన్నారు. రాజకోటని విద్యా సంస్థలకు ఇచ్చామన్నారు. ఆనంద్ గజపతి ఎప్పుడూ ధర్మాన్ని పాటించేవారన్నారు. అందరూ ఆ ధర్మాన్ని పాటించాలని కోరారు. తమ కుటుంబాన్ని ఆశీర్వదించినందుకు అందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు చెప్పారు. పుస్తక రచయిత ఆనంద్ గజపతిరాజు కుమార్తె పి. ఊర్మిళ గజపతిరాజు మాట్లాడుతూ పవర్ ప్రజెంట్ ద్వారా ఆనంద్ గజపతి గొప్పతనాన్ని వివరించారు. వ్యక్తులు శాశ్వతం కాదు, వారు చేసే పనులు శాశ్వతం అని చెప్పారు. భీమిలి ఎమ్మెల్యే గంటా శ్రీనివాసరావు మాట్లాడుతూ రాచరిక వంశంలో పుట్టిన ఆనంద్ ఎంపీగా, ఎమ్మెల్యేగా చేశారన్నారు. విలువల తగ్గిన రాజకీయాల నుంచి ఆనంద్ వైదొలిగిన ప్రజలకు సేవ చేశారన్నారు. ఎమ్మెల్యే అతిథి గజపతిరాజు మాట్లాడుతూ తండ్రిని గురువు చేసుకుంటూ పుస్తకం రాయడం హర్షదీయమన్నారు. పుస్తకావిష్కరణకు ముందు చిన్నజీయర్ స్వామీజీ వీడియో సందేశంలో ఈశాన్య ప్రాంతంలో పూసపాటి వారు చేసిన సేవలను కొనియాడారు. ఆ సేవలు నిరంతరం కొనసాగాలని ఆకాంక్షించారు. సింహాచలం ఈవో త్రినాథ్ ఆధ్వర్యంలో దేవస్థానం అర్చకులు అశోక్ గజపతిరాజును సత్కరించి స్వామివారి చిత్రపటం, తీర్థ ప్రసాదాలను అందజేశారు. ఈ కార్యక్రమంలో మాజీ ఎంపీ ప్రదీప్ చంద్, పి. రేష్చంద్, విద్యా గజపతిరాజు, పి. సుధా గజపతిరాజు తదితరులు పాల్గొన్నారు.
To go on and talk about something that is kind of personal, but I believe I was at the receiving end of so much of my father's love when I was younger, and I'm so happy that he gave me the chance to immortalize his memory through this book, and I feel truly honored to be able to do it. I believe he led a life in service in politics, as the chairman of Mansa's Trust, as Dharmakarta of 108 temples. He was truly humble, and he always upheld his righteousness, and he was always very dharmic as a person. And my mother keeps saying he was born in the Vishnu Amsa. I'm not really sure what that means, but I believe whenever my father told me when I was younger that Narasimha Swami always tested people who believed in him the most, I believed it was a way of letting me know that, you know, when difficult things happen in your life, it's not for us to give up our faith in God, but to reinforce that same faith and to surrender to Him. I hope to imbibe so many of His qualities, His intelligence, His charisma, His sense of always being on time, which I really, really hope I get soon, because it's not something I've been known to uphold, unfortunately, but it's something I'd like to learn from him. And he gave so much to his people. He gave scholarships. He helped anyone in need of employment. He always made sure whoever came to him was never turned away empty-handed. His contributions are many. He rented out Simhachalam Meda to Lions Club in Vijayanagaram at annual rent of just 1 rupee, so the needy could have free medical services. He established a new Goshala at Simhachalam and founded MVGR College of Engineering in early 2000s to make quality education accessible. So I would now like for all of you to watch a short video we made in honor of my father.
So many emotions run through the mind, and probably none of us are angels as such. My colleague here, Ganta, he asked me, didn't Anand smoke? I said, yes, he smoked more than me. Of course, he was an avid sportsman also. Every day he would run off to... At school it was all playgrounds. After that it was running off to the Cosmopolitan Club in Chennai. Game of tennis. His good friends Raj, Chandru, all those friends of his who were close, I don't know how many of them are there today, still on planet Earth. Who shared a childhood with him. In a sense, we are a very unusual family, a rather large family, well scattered all around the country, if I may say so. So the influences of everything are on us. Particularly among us cousins, sisters, brothers, cousins, three of us had bonded quite differently. Anand, myself, and my sister Sunita. In a way, coming from a broken home, the bonding becomes stronger. Anand, of course, was the elder one among us. And among siblings, he was our guru. Guru in many ways. Of course, our cousins were also no exception to the speeches that he used to give us. An example is it's nice to be great, nice to be known, nice to be gracious. It's good to be known, but more important, you should be known to be good. He give his own lectures. In certain ways, he was far above his years. In fact, I'm pleasantly surprised that the children have done the research, because Urmila, a child, bringing out books requires a lot of research. Affections can be blinding at times. So I haven't really gone through the book, so I can't really comment about the book much. But he had an impact of his life was something on all of us. Actually, broken family on one side, busy family on the other. The three of us, actually, there was one Mrs. Enos, if I remember correctly. She was our, those days they used to call governesses. Not only my sister, I think my cousins also, Urmila will remember Mrs. Enos also. She was connected with the family for a very, very long time. We don't know what impacts she gave us, but when you come from families where parents spend very little time with the children, the impacts on the children are something different. We were fortunate that I think that we had grown in a proper way to become responsible citizens in a free country. I remember Anand when he first came in as an MLA and became a minister in the then NTR's first cabinet with the audios portfolio of education. One of the first things he did at that time, public things, was he saw to it that sport infrastructure was used for sport. In our country, sporting infrastructure is used for everything else except sport. Net result, we have all seen and experienced, just an example. The Fateh Maidan Club or rather stadium in Hyderabad, was no exception. It was used for as a Shadi Khana, the indoor stadium. With this regulation, what happened? The regulation on one side, committed coaches on the other side. I remember Arif also, the coach, and the little students like Gopi Chand. They all grew to be champions in badminton. It's the opportunity, it's not we have enough talent among Indians. I don't really have to talk about talent as such. If we allow our scientists to work, if we allow our armed forces to work, and if the political system can give them a clarity of thought and action, we've seen the result recently. Operation Sindoor is a classic example of it. If we did not give clarity to our armed forces, we'll become like the Pakistani armed forces or the DGPs who are now knocking the doors of jail in various states of our country. The political process is expected to give a clarity. This is what we are all trying to achieve now. In fact, I have spent long years in that process, and now of course I have landing up at a office which is more advisory in nature. In Telugu we say Uchita Salahalu Ivadanki. A Uchita Salahal Patistara Leda, that will again depend on our present public representatives, one of whom happens to be my daughter also. A rather meaningful life, and it's in sport. Anand had done also other things like, for the small things like in Vijayanagaram and Pilates, he gave 10 lakhs of rupees to the stadia for he and Kishore Chandradev from Kurpam, both. They put up this, I wonder if Urmila knows about it and put it in a book. I have no idea, because I don't know who all gave her inputs, because Anand was much bigger person. Education, it's an individual empowerment. What you do with the education is a value structure. This values is what we are all looking out for. తెలుగులో చెప్పాలంటే ధర్మము ఎక్కడున్నా మీ ధర్మాన్ని పాటిస్తే, as a son you have a dharma, as a father you have a dharma, as a wife you have a dharma, as a husband you have a dharma. You have a dharma for society also. ఆ ధర్మాన్ని పాటించడం అది ముఖ్యం. I think very fun-loving person also. We miss him. భగవంతుడు ఆయనకి ఆరోగ్యంలో లోడ్ చేశారు. His health started failing him, and we lost him. his work anyway remains. I remember when our father passed away, there was only one old palace area in Vijayanagaram which did not have, was not an educational institution or had an educational institution in its compound. And it bugged him. Probably the only zamindari, if not only a state in the whole country where all the old palaces were either educational institutions or had educational institutions in their compounds. And that gave rise to the College of Engineering in Vijayanagaram. Probably the only place that 100%. That's why the grandeur is out. Nobody was thinking of building a Rishikonda anywhere except Visakhapatnam. And from what I understand from what our legislator told me, that he has probably one of the best palaces he has seen is the Palace of Goa, the governor's residence, which was built by the Portuguese. I'm sometimes wondering whether that was the model for your Rishikonda in Visakhapatnam. That has 3 sides C, this has 2.5 sides C. So it's all very interesting. Only thing, the timings have changed. That was built by a Portuguese empire. This was built against all laws, all regulations, everything. But it's interesting, from going from the east coast to the west coast. I don't know what awaits me, because whatever it be, if our lives are useful to others, I think God cannot give a bigger blessing. Anand inherited a lot of responsibility. I never thought it will come my way. I was happy-go-lucky person. He was the studious kind, and I used to take the opposite reports home. And my father used to laugh at the report cards I used to get. There's no basis to start with Ashok. He's too happy-go-lucky. So these were the kind of report cards I took home. And for any serious type of thinking, we used to look up to Anand. He was a more serious type of person, more anchored in reality. He used to always tell us, it's nice to be important also, but it's more important to be nice. Well, at those younger days, how he used to think like this is beyond me. But it was the way of his life. More matured than his years, and the impacts that he leaves is what is left. There's someday we are all going to go away, but the only thing we have is to leave our footprints in the sands of time. If we do something proper, we generate an impact. And it is an impact that sustains affection, respect, of which we as a family are blessed with abundance. My grandfather started very low at that time. until in 1933 it was started. In 1954, my late father, he institutionalized it, gave that piece, a bit of land, this thing. It's known as the Simachalam boarding house in Vijayanagara. Now they feed 450 children every day and educate them. It's the blessing of those children that helps our family. It's their blessings that we look forward to. Wherever we are, whatever we do, we are fiercely independent people. We run after things that are dear to our hearts. We love and respect one another. We go through the rough and tumble of life. I don't think life has ever been smooth sailing for anybody. But we all have to rise to the occasion and live it